Hello, everyone. Welcome to Happy Hour. Oh, I was psyching myself up because this is my first solo episode. I'm so excited. But I'm also really scared because I never thought that I would ever do a solo episode. In my previous episodes, before the show went on a hiatus for almost 2 years, I always had guests on the show. It didn't seem natural to me to have an episode where I'm just talking to myself and looking at myself in the camera. So by the time I publish this episode, hopefully it'll be during May. And May is a very important month because most people know that it's API month, but it is also Mental Health Awareness Month. And I briefly talked about how in my previous 3-minute episode that I'm currently on a wellness journey ever since I was officially diagnosed with PCOS January of this year, but I actually started exhibiting PCOS symptoms last year of January, and I was not officially diagnosed until this year in January. So I've just been on a very, very, very long, holistic, functional wellness journey, and I just wanted to do a wellness episode. And so this episode is a segment where I share to you my top wellness tips that every single creator should implement into their busy lives. This is what I'm currently drinking for happy hour. It's a Recovery 9 muscle repair powder drink that I got from my favorite fitness studio in LA. And I just like drinking it because it tastes really good. It's pomegranate berry. There, ASMR. Okay, tip 1. You know what? This is my unofficial first tip. Drink a mason jar. No, sorry. Drink from a mason jar. That's my unofficial first tip. I find that drinking from a mason jar is so helpful in keeping me stay hydrated because many times when we work from home, we're just sitting at our desks. And so sometimes you forget to, walk to the kitchen and pour yourself a glass of water. Get a mason jar. So I have a 32 fluid ounce mason jar. I can drink at least 3 full jars of water every day. And that is definitely over 2 liters of water. Sometimes I drink over 3 liters of water because sometimes I'll drink like lemon water, I'll drink bone broth. So get a mason jar is what I'm saying. Okay, let's actually get to the real ones that I prepared. Here are my bullet points. I have so many tips. Let's see if we can get through all of them in an hour. Number 1, something that you should buy is a foam roller and or massage balls. I'll tell you why. I find foam rolling not just after a workout, but just on days when I want a more active stretch, or if I want to release tension or soreness from my body. I find foam rollers so helpful. I used to do it only after I finished a workout, but now because we're like sitting at our desks for so long all the time, I love coming back and foam rolling and just really really pressing into those pressure points. It instantly releases tension, and I try to do it weekly. I used to do it daily. I don't do it as much now, if I'm being honest, but it's a staple in my lifestyle. You can also get massage balls, which I also have. They're great for massaging the bottoms of my feet. I like to massage the bottoms of my feet as well because also we don't really activate the bottoms of our feet in general because we're just wearing shoes all the time. I've noticed that when I go to workout classes in the past, my feet would cramp up so bad. But once I start massaging the balls of my feet, like every night when I'm watching TV, it really does release some tension and promote more mobility and flexibility at the bottoms of my feet. And I'm not going to be showing you on camera how I do it. No. Or if you don't want to buy any of this, well, then just stretch. Active stretching is so important. I know a lot of friends who don't stretch after a workout, even before a workout, or they stretch for only like a few seconds and they think that it's fine. Like, oh my gosh, no. Aim to stretch like every day. When you get out of bed, just stretch for like a minute to 5 minutes. That's going to improve circulation. That's going to lube up your joints, that's going to prep you for the day, and it's going to prevent injuries. So anyway, I really recommend getting either a foam roller and or massage balls. But if you're like, Melissa, I don't want any of that, well, stretch. Okay. Next. Ooh, okay, here's like a bonus. What I like to do at home by myself is a lymphatic drainage massage. If that term sounds really unfamiliar to you, I'll explain. But if you live in LA, I'm pretty sure you've already heard of it. People do lymphatic drainage massages to remove toxins or excess water, because sometimes, we all retain water in our bodies, and sometimes we hold excess water. So with lymphatic drainage massages, you can activate certain lymph nodes in your body, and then once you activate and do certain massaging patterns, you are able to drain some toxins out of your body. Isn't that so exciting? You can do that at home, because I've searched it up in LA. An hour lymphatic body massage is like $200. That is crazy. So what I like to do is I like to do it at home. A very simple lymphatic exercise you can do after a long day of maybe standing at work, if you're on set, or if your feet need a little love. I like to put my legs up against the wall as a natural lymphatic drainage massage. That's going to drain your toxins down your legs. That's just a really natural way to detox properly. So I like to just put my legs up on the wall while I do my Duolingo, because I'm a habit stacker. And I've told one of my friends the benefits of lymphatic drainage, and I told him about putting your legs up against the wall, and he's been doing that ever since I told him. So I have influence, and hopefully by the end of this episode you'll have a few takeaways of what habits you can incorporate or stack into your life. And speaking of lymph drainage, oh my gosh, I don't want to say the full name, lymph drainage, let's just say it, lymph drainage. Another way you can do it is to do it on your face. So this is my next tip. You need to invest in a gua sha stick. I know the girlies have been talking about this all the time on social media. You've been hearing everyone needs a gua sha stick. You've seen it on Vogue Beauty Secrets. Everyone is using a gua sha stick nowadays, but I'll explain to you why it's very important. Let me just take a sip. You have lymph nodes all throughout your body, not just your legs, but also your arms. So under your armpits, actually, you have lymph nodes there, and also on your face. Okay, so if you're on Spotify, look at me. I'm going to show you where your lymph nodes are. So most people know that your lymph nodes are here, out where your collarbones are at, your clavicle region. Okay, so what I like to do, so I actually just finished my skincare routine. I just took a shower. My face is refreshed. Before I take my gua sha stick, I prep my lymph system by massaging my collarbone area by just gently tapping it. You do not need to press, okay? In the past, I thought you just need to press super hardly on your lymph nodes so that's going to work better. No. Just lightly tap them. They'll know. They'll be like, okay. I feel you. I see you. You gently tap your collarbones, and then you gently press the jaw area right underneath your earlobe. So you can feel it when you clench your jaw. And you lightly tap that area for a few times as well. So I'm doing that on the camera. You can see, you can do it with me too. So you lightly tap it. And after that, you can also lightly tap near your nostrils, on the outsides of your nostrils, just for a few times. I'm doing that right now too. And then also, the last area you can press on lightly is the corners of your eyes. So near your nose as well, the corners of your eyes. You gently tap. And actually, let me get my gua sha right now. So if you're on Spotify, you're in for a treat. If you're on Apple Podcasts. So this is my gua sha stick. It's brown. Can you hear it? So once your lymph nodes are activated, you take the gua sha and then you just basically comb your face. You move up your chin, you move upward motions on your face, and then you do it for like 5 to 10 times with intention, okay? Don't rush through it. And afterwards, once you comb it all the way to your jaw area underneath your earlobe, then you can take the gua sha and then use it horizontally and then just swipe it down your neck so that the toxins go down to your collarbones. And then you do that for a couple times as well. You can also take the gua sha stick and also comb your cheekbone area for a couple times too. So get a gua sha stick. It's literally only $15, $20. A lot of brands, they sell them for like $40. Like, do not get it on Goop, okay? Get it on Amazon, you know, or Daiso. Daiso, they sell it for super cheap. And the gua sha stick came from Asia too, so get it from Daiso. They all look the same. And I like to bring my gua sha stick with me, or okay, I am making it an intention to bring my gua sha stick with me when I travel, because something happened in my life 2 months ago that made me deeply regret not bringing my gua sha stick. And my mom told me to bring it and I didn't listen to her. So, and she is always right, damn it. Okay. In February, I went to Africa. Wow, yes. I went to Tanzania for 10 days. Beautiful, beautiful experience. My 10 days there, perfect. I was as healthy as a horse. I was sprightly. I was just so happy to be there. On my last day, I get heat stroke because we were at a Maasai village under the sun for like 3 hours dancing, and there was no water there too. And also, us city folk, we're just built differently. We're just not very in harmony with the elements. So the village members there are obviously much stronger than we were. So we were under the sun for 3+ hours with no food or water. And it's always important to always hydrate yourself when you're under the sun. One of the most effective ways to treat heat stroke and to instantly alleviate yourselves from a throbbing headache that you can get from a heat stroke is to gua sha the back of your neck. Okay, so before you gua sha, I forgot to mention, it's always good to put a serum on so that your gua sha stick glides smoother. You don't want it on just dry, unmoisturized skin because that would be really painful. So what my mom does is that every time she gets heat stroke, she always brings a serum with her. She's just she's literally like a real life Mary Poppins. Anyway, she's always prepared. So what you do is that you take a serum, you dab a generous amount on the back of your neck so that you can use the gua sha stick and scrape the back of your neck. That is going to release heat from your head. And that is such an underrated wellness hack that most people don't know about, because when people think about gua sha, they're like, oh, I want my face to feel snatched. No, gua sha is for the entire body. And it's incredible. So I've gotten heat stroke in the past before because I also grew up in Taiwan. And it's so hot there. And so whenever we get heat stroke, we would gua sha. And so what I didn't do when I was in Africa is that I did not bring a gua sha stick. And so when I was on the flight, it was the most painful flight ever. My flight back home to LA took an entire day. And I've been on many, many, many international flights, but this was by far the most tragic, painful one. And I was in the middle seat, and I usually request the aisle seat, but they gave me the middle seat when they said they gave me the aisle seat. And so anyway, so I was in the middle seat, and not only did I get heat stroke, I also got food poisoning. So I had to go to the bathroom multiple times, and I felt so bad trying to walk over the lady to my right to go to the bathroom like every few minutes. And so I felt so bad. And I also had terrible heat stroke, and so I couldn't sit still because I felt like my butt was on fire. Okay, but I did not bring my gua sha stick, and that is one of the biggest regrets ever. But then here's the thing: when I told my mom that I got heat stroke on the flight, my mom gave me this advice that I will tell you now that I wish I had known, but I was just not doing well. if you don't have a gua sha stick and you have heat stroke, if you're on a plane, okay, ask the flight attendants if they have a metal spoon. You can also use a metal spoon and either just lotion or olive oil to gua sha the back of your neck. And that is probably going to work just as well. Yeah, I did not bring a gua sha stick when I was in Africa, and that made my life very, very hard on the way back. So, oh my gosh, that took so long to explain, but this is a very, very, very nifty object to keep when you travel and also to use every day. Okay, next one. Have a foundational skincare routine. I know a couple of friends, I'm not going to name them, who don't have a skincare routine, and that should be illegal. Or they just like wash their face, and then after they wash their face, they're like, okay, my skin's good. No. Here's what needs to change. Here are 3 key products that you should buy after you use your cleanser. So cleanser, I'm assuming you wash your face. Okay. Get a toner that preps your skin, and a serum, and also moisturizer. That's it. If you don't want, well, technically a toner and a serum, they're not super necessary. So let me just even water down even more for people who don't really even do skincare. After you wash your face, put on moisturizer, okay? Your face loses a lot of moisture after you wash your face. And so it's really great to rehydrate your face by using a moisturizer. And there are a lot of different types of moisturizers out there on the market. I would suggest really know what your skin type is. And if you're unsure, you can ask a friend, you can take like an online quiz, or just go to a Sephora and then you can ask them, and then ask what kinds of skincare products they would recommend based on your skin type. And here is a really big misconception that a lot of people have. Just because you have oily skin doesn't mean you should not use moisturizer. I have a lot of friends who have like, I have really oily skin, like I don't want to put on more stuff on my skin. No, it's because your skin is lacking moisture that is producing more oil. Do you get it? So please find a good moisturizer and just really understand your skin type, and really use gentle, clean ingredients. That is also preferably cruelty-free. When I had PCOS, so I still have PCOS anyway, let me rephrase it. When I started exhibiting really bad PCOS symptoms, I started breaking out like crazy. And for me, I had grown up with clear skin. I had no acne issues. My older sister, she grew up with a lot of cystic acne, and it was until I got severe acne last year that I really started to understand that it's such a dampener on your mental health. It just like completely crushed my confidence. And I'm the type of person who, I don't really put on makeup. For me, I put on sunscreen, which I will get to next, but I don't really put on makeup. And when I started breaking out really bad, I definitely started covering my imperfections up more. And I also just like, I did not want to go out. But anyway, when I started breaking out, I wanted to find a quick fix, obviously, when something like this happens. And so I was thinking, oh my gosh, how can I get rid of this acne fast? And I just started using really harsh ingredients, which looking back, I shouldn't have. And if I had known better on what my body was going through, then maybe I wouldn't have done that to my skin. So after that, my acne had my face had a ton of scarring, and I still have scarring now. You can't really see it on camera, but it's still there, and I'm always looking at myself in the mirror, so I always see it. But it's gotten way better. Oh my goodness! Like back then, in July to November, my skin was at its worst of last year. But we are making changes. We are improving. Health is a very long journey, but that's why I've learned so much over this past year, and I just want to share everything that I've like collected and habit stacked. So use gentle ingredients. And right now, especially because we are entering some really high temperatures, and when you're out in the sun, obviously sunscreen is very important, but afterwards what I like to do is that I like to put on aloe vera on my skin, on my face, or on my arms too, if your arms are exposed in the sun, after I wash my face when I come back. Aloe vera has a lot of really anti-inflammatory properties, and has a very cooling effect too, so it's really great for your skin if it's been under, some more harsh elements. Or, if you like running outside, if you like playing sports outside, coming back home and just slathering on some aloe vera. It feels very nice because it's very cold. And I like to put it on if I have any scarring, if you accidentally burn yourself, putting aloe vera on is a great way of reducing scarring. Okay, next one. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Ooh, walking is so underrated. This is something that I've really learned to implement into my life in the past year. I thought the best way to be healthy actively is to go on these really high intensity workouts to really push the limits of what your body can do. And I still challenge myself physically all the time, but I realize that doing only high intensity is only going to raise your cortisol levels. It could damage your joints, and it takes a pretty big toll on your body. That's why you need to find a really good mix of physical activity, and that's why walking should be a staple in your physical activity. And what I do is that every Saturday morning, I plan these hikes with my friends, and we call them our hot girl walks, which is also a pretty staple phrase in Gen Z vernacular. We do it every Saturday morning, or even if people don't come with me, I'll still do it by myself every Saturday morning. But now the weather is getting warmer, and there's this one trail that I found that my friends and I go back all the time. It has all of these orange trees, and now these oranges have just blossomed, and we just pick from the orange trees, and they're the best oranges ever. Low-key don't want to tell you where the trail is at, but if you hang out with me, I'll take you to my favorite trail. So I like to do that with my friends, and walking outdoors also gives you the opportunity to be under the sun, because getting daily sunlight is also very important. Taking in daily sunlight is also really important for your circadian rhythm. And so I also try to get at least 10 to 15 minutes of sunlight in the day. It's best to do it first thing in the morning too, because that regulates your circadian rhythm. In conclusion, walking is underrated. Put on your headphones, pop in a podcast, pop in your favorite playlist, call a friend while you're walking, and it's going to instantly boost your mood. Okay, next. Oh, okay. So since we've been talking about physical activity and how I'm encouraging people to not only do HIIT, because I used to do that all the time. For me, because I have PCOS, I feel like people don't know what PCOS is, so let me just briefly explain it. It's called polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's a chronic condition that disrupts your hormonal balance. Common symptoms can be raised blood sugar because you're insulin resistant, or severe acne, hormonal imbalances. What I don't like to admit is that rapid weight gain is also a very common symptom of PCOS. So I've experienced all three of these. And also just more inflammation. Oh my goodness, I'm a work in progress. But I realized that with PCOS, if I keep doing HIIT workouts, that's only going to raise more inflammation in my body. It's going to raise cortisol levels in my body. And so what I currently do right now, and what I encourage you to do, is to work with your body. Don't work against it. Listen to your body, what it needs. This week, do you have more energy? Maybe we can amp up the intensity and do something that's maybe higher intensity, but it doesn't, where you can still break a sweat but not break your body. I know there are a lot of high intensity workouts there that are so harsh on your joints, and that's just not worth it. I used to do a lot of that, and I'm like, no. I'm all for high intensity and low impact. During certain weeks in my cycle, I will do something with higher intensity. I'll do something with heavier weights. On other days or weeks, I'll do something with lighter weights, medium intensity, or I'll just do more walks, or I'll do more stretching. So just really tune in with your body and ask what it needs and how you can best serve it that day. And so this brings me to my next point, which I incessantly talk about to all of my girlies and all of my guy friends too. Cycle syncing. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about this. So ever since I got PCOS, another common symptom of PCOS is that you have irregular periods or your periods just don't ever come. And having regular periods is also very important for women in their 20s to 40s who regularly menstruate. So there were times where my period didn't come or my period just was super irregular. And so I've learned to cycle sync. Oh my gosh, ladies, this has been something that has been gatekept from us it's still been gatekept to us. Like a lot of women that I talk to don't even know what that is. And so it is my mission on earth to talk to people, men and women alike, to talk about cycle syncing. But this is more tailored for women because a man's cycle resets every 24 hours, but a woman's cycle can happen over the course of 28 to 40 days. That's crazy. That's crazy. So that's why sometimes there are certain days of the week where you feel more lethargic. There are certain days of the week where you feel more empowered and more lively, So I love to cycle sync not only my workouts, but my nutrition. You can definitely search up how you can cycle sync your nutrition, but I'm going to focus on movement. And also, it was only until last year that I learned that, to be completely honest, that I learned that a woman's cycle is not just the menstrual cycle. I literally thought your cycle is just like the 4 to 7 days when your period comes. But no. And if you think that too, I'm about to teach you. I'm about to educate you on the phases of a cycle. So the first day of your cycle is your menstrual phase. So that's when your period comes. And that can last between 4 to 7 days. That is when your energy is at its lowest. So what you want to do, you want to work with your body. You do gentle workouts. You do active stretches, yoga, stretches or massages that aid in helping your bloating, that help you kind of detox your body from just all the inflammation. Because when your period comes, that is a natural inflammatory response that your body is going through. So really just be gentle. Go for a walk, do stretches, do yoga, active recovery. Right when your menstrual phase ends, you enter the follicular phase. That typically ranges between days 6 to 15 of your cycle. That is when your energy is starting to pick up. Estrogen levels are starting to rise. And so you can add in a bit more high intensity exercises, a bit more cardio bursts, because cardiovascular health is also very important. It's also really great at creating bone density, just picking up the pace for your workout. Days 16 through 18 typically, that is your ovulation phase. That's your ovulatory phase. That's when, you start to produce eggs, and that's when you feel your best, you know what I mean? And it's a very short cycle. So definitely take advantage of those 3 days, typically 3 days, and amp up on your weights and amp up on your intensity because you are feeling like a superwoman at that time. Okay, days 19 till like days 28 or 30, typically a cycle is like 28 to 30 days, but days 19 onwards until your next period, that is your luteal phase. So that is when your energy is starting to gradually decline in preparation for your menstrual phase. The beginning of your luteal cycle, you still have a good amount of energy because you just came out of your ovulatory phase. It's not like after ovulation, like you instantly drop in energy. It's a gradual decline. So decreasing the intensity gradually, starting to do maybe more Pilates or yoga, less of the super high intensity stuff, and then you go back to your menstrual phase. So I like to categorize, or this is actually what I heard from a wellness influencer, Gracie Norton. She talks about how her menstrual phase is her inner winter. Most people during their menstrual phase, they just kind of want to be by themselves. They want to stay inside. And then when you go to your follicular phase, you are That's your inner spring. So the follicular phase is a time to say yes and to create projects, to go make those projects happen that you've been thinking of. I was definitely on my follicular phase when I wanted to relaunch happy hour. So just giving you an example. And then your ovulatory phase is your inner summer. Your luteal phase is your inner fall. And isn't that just so interesting? So I know it sounds really overwhelming if this is the first time you're hearing about it, but just read about it. Read about the different phases. And I'm sure many women, you all have like period tracking apps. And so you can just see in your period calendar what part you're at and how you're able to tailor your meals and your workouts to what part of the cycle you're at. Okay, oh my gosh, that was such a long explanation. But I really encourage that more women learn about cycle syncing, because that is also helping me regulate my period. If I cycle sync in terms of workouts, nutrition, it's literally biohacking. That prepares my body and helps it become more regulated in terms of like how my hormones are acting and in terms of, when my period comes. So, okay, next. Okay, let me take another sip. Here's my next tip. Become a beverage girly. I used to be just a water girly, but sometimes water is boring. So here are some beverages that I think you can totally implement into your lives. I know on set you're drinking LaCroix all the time, but I want to let you know that there are greener pastures out there. Let me tell you a few beverages that you can implement into your lives and you can make at home, or you can just easily buy. Number one, I love drinking bone broth. I feel like bone broth has recently been more of a trend on social media, but I'm Asian, and so I've been drinking bone broth my entire life. Bone broth is so amazing for strengthening your bones. It produces collagen, and collagen is what's found in your skin. So a higher production of collagen in your skin means that your skin's going to be healthier, more elastic. It's going to have a more glowy look. It's going to stimulate hair growth. So I like drinking bone broth, especially since I'm trying to still heal a lot of my acne scarring and really trying to prevent any future acne from coming out of the woodwork. So I like to drink a cup of hot bone broth every morning. Sometimes if I forget in the morning, I'll drink it at night, but I aim to have 1 cup a day, and it's just super nice to have it in the morning, and I really like the taste of it too. Also, some warm lemon water. It's great. You squeeze half a lemon, mix in some warm or hot water, boom, done. I like to have it with my breakfast because lemons also aid in digestion, so I like to have it in the morning. Apple cider vinegar. I also like drinking apple cider vinegar. I mean, not on its own. Oh my gosh, it's literally going to burn my throat. But instead of diluting it with water, because that's kind of boring, I like to mix it with sparkling water, and so it becomes kind of a nice sparkling beverage. Apple cider vinegar is also known to regulate blood sugar, and people with PCOS like me, we are all about regulating our blood sugar. So I like mixing apple cider vinegar with some sparkling water, and sometimes there are recipes where you can put apple cider vinegar into and make it into like a salad dressing, so you can definitely look into that. But I just like it. I like to drink it as a beverage, and adding some ice cubes, ooh, I love it. I also love drinking ginger tea. Ginger has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties. Anti-inflammatory is my favorite word in this episode, because also people with PCOS, we are all about eating those anti-inflammatory foods. But it's something. Ginger and turmeric are great spices, powders, or if you're too lazy to buy the whole thing, you can just buy a powder. Turmeric contains curcumin, and it's a chemical compound found in turmeric, and they're all anti-inflammatory. So that's like also a tip that I have. Eat anti-inflammatory foods. Oh my gosh, it's gonna whoever is driving that motorcycle, I just want to push them off their motorcycle. I'm sorry. Anti-inflammatory superfoods. It's gonna obviously reduce inflammation in the body. It's gonna strengthen your immune system. It's literally gonna make you a better person, so you have to believe me. Also, oh my gosh, I will say I'm not a doctor though, so don't come at me. But these are just some really easy wellness tips, okay? Let me just restate. I am not a doctor, a health practitioner, but I'm also a very knowledgeable person. I'm also really smart, so you should listen to me. Okay, next. I highly recommend taking supplements. I don't want you to be like, oh my gosh, like I need to eat like 10,000 supplements a day. Like, take the necessary supplements you need. And you're asking, Melissa, how do I know what supplements do I need? Great question. This leads me also to my next point. Get blood work done, okay? Most people don't even know they have a hormonal imbalance until they get blood work done. I didn't even know I had PCOS until I got blood work done. If you experience fatigue, migraines, bloating, sudden rapid weight gain, hair loss, severe acne, lightheadedness, brain fog, anything that just doesn't feel right in your life, I encourage you to get your blood test. Like, find out with your insurance on which blood testing lab is covered under your insurance, and then get some blood work done. You can get your hormones tested, and anything else that you are concerned about. I highly recommend. And for me, I get myself tested every like 2 to 3 months because I'm still in the process of trying to regulate my hormones, balance out my hormones, and manage my PCOS symptoms. So I like to do it every 2 to 3 months. For most people who don't have that many symptoms, like, at least get tested like once a year. You have only this one body and you want it to carry you for a very, very long time. So I cannot emphasize how important this is. And once you get your blood work done, you're then able to, while working with your healthcare practitioner, see the types of nutrients or foods you should incorporate more into your lifestyle. And if there are certain natural supplements that can also help regulate your hormones. So for me, when I took my blood test, I was able to realize that I need to be incorporating more iron. So I have some iron supplements. I have started taking magnesium before I go to bed, so that calms me down. Magnesium is also a great supplement for anyone looking to just like sleep better at night. I take a certain bottle of supplements for my PCOS. I also take Chinese medicine too. I have a Chinese medicine doctor back home in Taiwan. I'm all for functional medicine and going through holistic care, but at the same time, I still will say that there is a place for Western medicine. For me, I'm all about trying to manage my symptoms and make health a long-term goal. So I'm really just sticking towards functional medicine and natural supplements. If you're in a much more life-threatening emergency, then absolutely, I think there's a place for Western medicine, for Western medication. But that being said, for me, I just really like to go natural. I mean, food came first. So if it's between food and medication, chemical medication, I'd go for the food first. Okay, so I highly recommend you get your blood work done because there is a way to achieve balance. And if you're not feeling right, if you feel something in your body is off, you deserve to feel healthy and happy. Okay? And I always keep telling myself that because I'm still, my healing journey is still a very, very long process, but we're getting there. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll do two more. I don't even know how many I did. These last two are products that you need to buy. Number 1, you need to buy an air purifier. The air outside is nasty, okay? I live in Los Angeles, and there are so many cars and vehicles here. Lots of stuff gets into your lungs, and that's like really bad. Sorry. Last year during Black Friday, I got an air purifier, and I also encouraged my 2 roommates to get air purifiers. So the 3 of us, we all have air purifiers in our rooms right now, and it is such a game changer. Like, before I had an air purifier, I would still leave a little crack in my window just to have some natural airflow. But my floor, even after just a day, would accumulate just like this light layer of dust that I can just feel when I'm walking on the floor. But now with an air purifier, the air is much more purified and like my room just feels cleaner. And one of my roommates, Steven, he gets really bad allergies, but ever since he got an air purifier, he's been able to sleep better and he's been able to breathe better as well. I mean, even if you don't live in Los Angeles, like the air outside, there's always going to be so many toxins. So I highly recommend investing in an air purifier. It's going to make you sleep better. It's going to make you breathe better. It's going to make your house cleaner. 100%. Okay. Lastly, this is something that my mom and my roommate Steven gave me. You need to get an eye massager. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I have two types of iPads. I have a heated one that my mom shipped to me, which is so sweet of her. It literally heats up and then I just put it on when I go to sleep, and it also makes me go to sleep faster. And it doesn't heat up in perpetuity. It heats up for just 30 minutes, and it's just so relaxing for your eyes because we're always looking at our computer screens at work all the time, and it's just a really natural way to relax your eyes. If you don't have a heated iPad, if you don't want to invest in one, you can just boil a bowl of water and then just put a towel in there, wring it dry, and then just put it over your eyes as well. That's also a really natural way of relaxing your eyes. The other one that I have two. I know, I'm bawling. Another one is a gift that Steven got me, is eye massager, and it also heats up too. The downside is that I have to charge it all the time, while my other heated iPad, I just have it plugged in and I can use it whenever. But this eye massager that he got me is so amazing. And also, in addition to all three roommates, all three of us having air purifiers, all three of us have eye massages as well. So it was actually my other roommate, Anna. She trailblazed this idea. So she has her pink heated eye massager. And then after that, Steven hopped on the trend and got his eye massager. And then last Christmas, Steven got me the eye massager. So we should definitely just have a night where we just lay on the couch and turn on our eye massagers all at once. But it's so nice. And I've turned it on, and it goes on for maybe 20 to 30 minutes. And most of the times I fall asleep before the whole eye massaging cycle ends. So I highly recommend getting an eye massager since, our eyes are fatigued all the time. Anyway, those are all of my wellness tips. I do not want to summarize it. No, do not tell me to summarize it. This has been super fun. If you hang out with me regularly, you will know that I'm incessantly talking about wellness habits to my friends all the time. And so the fact that I get to do it and more people are able to hear it on the pod, on Happy Hour, makes me so happy. And oh my goodness, look at this. My drink is gone. I literally just finished my drink before this episode is about to end. So thank you so much for joining me today. And if you like this episode, give Happy Hour a follow on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave a review, or just stick around and keep tuning in. I'd really appreciate that. I have so many other guests that are coming on, and I'm so excited for you to meet them. And more solo episodes too. I feel like now that I've gotten this out of my system, this is my first solo episode I've done. I'm just going to get better. But I hope that you're able to implement a few of these habits. You don't have to implement them all at once. Oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming. But what I did is that I habit stacked, and I did one habit. And then, after I got that down, I was able to implement more. So definitely take this advice and really sprinkle it into your daily lives. Bye.